Welcome to Missing with Molly. Today we're talking about Branson Kane Perry. Branson was a 20-year-old who went missing from Skidmore, Missouri on April 11th, 2001. Now, Branson graduated high school in 1999 and had previously worked for a traveling petting zoo and a roofing company. Branson has a black belt in Hapkido, is a weightlifter, and loves being outdoors. Branson is openly gay and his family is super supportive of it, and he's very well liked in the community. Branson does smoke weed and he uses meth as well. Branson's parents are divorced and they live about 20 minutes away from each other, but he primarily lives with his dad, Bob. Now, Bob's in the hospital and is set to get out on the 13th, so on the 11th, Branson calls his friend Jenna and asks her if she will come and help clean the house up before Bob gets home. So Jenna comes over that day, and there are also two mechanics there working on the alternator on Bob's car. Around 2 p.m., Jenna sees Branson grab something out of the kitchen cabinet and book it out the door, and Branson comes back a couple minutes later, and Jenna's like, "Where were you? What are you doing?" And Branson just completely refuses to answer the question. So Jenna keeps cleaning, and after a while of cleaning, she decides that she's going to hop in the shower. When Jenna gets out of the shower and goes downstairs, she sees one of the mechanics going through the kitchen cabinets, and she's like, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" And he just said no and went out the back door. Around 3, Jenna hears the sound at the door, so she looks outside, and she sees Branson carrying jumper cables, and he says that he's just going to the storage shed and that he'd be right back. Branson doesn't come back, and he is never seen again. The mechanics leave sometime after 3, and Jenna just figures that maybe Branson got busy, so she decides to leave and go home. Branson is supposed to visit his dad tonight in the hospital, and when he doesn't show up, his grandma Joanne is immediately worried. So Joanne goes to the house to check on Branson, and the house is unlocked, but there's nobody there. And she leaves, and she tries to call him a little bit later, and he doesn't answer his phone. So Joanne reaches out to Branson's mom, Becky, and is like, "Hey, have you seen Branson?" And Becky's like, "No, I haven't seen him since the 11th. Well, 17th comes around, and Bob gets out of the hospital a little bit later than expected. But as soon as he gets out, him and Joanne and Becky all go to the police station and file a missing persons report. The police search the property, and they don't really find anything interesting, but it is noted that there were jumper cables missing, and when they went back like a week and a half later to do a second search, the jumper cables were hung up, indicating that somebody had put them there after that first search. They looked at Jack Rogers as a suspect. He was arrested in 2002 for CP charges, and he was also messages found in an online chat room where he describes torturing, raping, and unaliving somebody with the same description as Branson, and there was also a necklace similar to Branson's in Jack's belongings. Jack ultimately denies killing Branson. He says, "I don't know Branson, this was just a fantasy." And Becky ends up believing it, so the police start to search elsewhere. There were tips saying that Branson was seen that day at a local trap house, and interestingly enough, that said house burned down less than a week after Branson went missing. This past year, 2 people were questioned in regards to Branson's disappearance, and they both told the police that Branson was buried in a field not too far from that trap house that he was supposedly last seen in. And they bring the police to the spot, and you can tell that it had been dug up before, that something was buried there before, but there was nothing there. After extensive digging, police find nothing. Bob and Becky die not knowing what happened to their son. One of the mechanics also died in 2021. Branson is still missing, and I do believe that somebody out there does know something. This happened over 20 years ago. People grow up, people change. If someone grows a conscience that knows what happened, please call the Nottoway County Sheriff's Office at 660-582-7451.